Here are 50 easy tips for reducing your impact on the environment. If you want to see why that's so important, please watch this video. Even if you don't buy into climate change, please watch this video. These are still good tips because the first 44 of them also save you lots of money. The list is also written out in the video description in case you missed something because I'll be trying to get through these quick. Make sure furniture isn't blocking heating or air conditioning vents. Turn off the oven a few minutes before your food is done. It'll stay hot. Clean out air filters. Turn down your water heater. Most come preset to heat water to 140 degrees Fahrenheit or more. There's no reason you'd ever need it that hot. Turn down your thermostat. In most homes you can save about 2% on your heating bill for every degree that you lower your thermostat. So if you were to turn your thermostat down 2 degrees all the time and an additional 5 degrees for the 8 hours you're at work and the 8 hours you're asleep, you'd save over 10% on your heating bill. Fill a bottle with water and keep it in your toilet's upper tank. It displaces water every time the tank fills up and turns your regular toilet into a low-flow toilet. Unplug appliances like toasters and coffee makers when you're not using them. Close doors and windows and use curtains over windows when it's hot or cold outside. Install good weather strips around your doors. If you're replacing windows, get energy-efficient ones. Turn off lights when the room is empty. Don't just stand there with the fridge door open. Same with the freezer. When a bulb burns out, replace it with a CFL, or use fewer bulbs. I don't need a light right there. Let the sun light the room rather than bulbs when it's bright out. Right now I don't need these lights on at all. Use cold or at least cooler water for washing clothes, washing dishes, and washing your hands. In the shower, you can use cooler water, take shorter showers, or not turn the water pressure quite so high. Don't turn the water pressure quite so high in the sink. In landscaping, use plants that don't require as much water. Grow any plant. They take carbon dioxide out of the air, and strategically planted shade trees can save tons on summer air conditioning costs. Water your lawn a little less, and let your grass grow a little longer. Longer grass needs less water, and you won't have to mow as often. Also, leave your grass clippings on the lawn. It makes for much less trash and reduces the need to fertilize. New topic. Roughly 25% of a person's carbon footprint is due to their diet. The often cited statistic that the average piece of food travels 1,500 miles from farm to plate has some valid criticisms. But there's no denying that most food has to get driven really far to end up in your grocery store. So buy food that is labeled as being locally grown. Shop at farmers markets. And start a garden to grow some of your own food. Also, beef generates more than twice the emissions of pork, nearly 4 times that of chicken, and more than 13 times that of vegetable proteins. So cut back a little on the meat, especially beef. Or get it from an environmentally friendly source like local farmers that raise cattle on pastures where they can actually act as a carbon sink. New topic, how to travel more efficiently. Keep your tires well inflated. Plan your errands to do more of them at once rather than making multiple trips. When you go to the grocery store, buy food for the whole week instead of making multiple trips. Take heavy things that you're not using out of your car. Slow down. Fuel efficiency starts to drop over 60 miles an hour. When it's time to get a new car, consider one with better gas mileage. When you're going someplace within a mile, walk there. And if you're going someplace within a few miles, ride your bike. Bonus points for doing it with no hands. 1 year, take a vacation somewhere within driving distance instead of flying someplace. This one's huge because flying is pretty much the most energy-intensive thing you can do. Also, if you work for a company that has people travel for business all the time, perhaps suggest trying to make better use of telecommuting. New topic. Everyone's heard the slogan, reduce, reuse, recycle, but I feel like most people just say, okay, and then never think about it again. I'm gonna give you some concrete ways to do each. Reduce. Containers and packaging make up over 30% of the 250 million tons of trash generated in the US every year. Think about how much trash you're left with after a combo meal from a fast food place. You can cut down on this by eating out less and cooking for yourself. Ingredients come with a lot more food in less packaging for much cheaper. Reduce your packaging consumption by buying things in bulk. Never buy single-serving anything. And reduce your product consumption by trying to just live a simpler life and not buy so many things you don't need. I'm sure you could manage with one less shirt, pair of shorts, pair of shoes, bag, gadget, and so on. Reuse. If something breaks, see if it can be fixed before running off to buy a new one. For every product there's a disposable version of, there's also a reusable version. They have disposable water bottles. Use water bottles. Disposable plastic silverware. Use silverware. Disposable cameras. Use a camera. Disposable razors. Use a razor, or at least use refills with a reusable handle. Disposable paper and styrofoam plates. Use a plate. Disposable paper and styrofoam cups. Use a glass. But dude, you can't hand over a glass at a fast food place and ask them to fill it. But at most places you can hand them a water bottle and they'll fill it, or just keep it filled with water and don't get a drink. Recycle. This goes far beyond just putting everything that qualifies in the recycle bin. And by the way, most recycling centers and services will take all paper, cardboard, glass, aluminum, tin, and most plastic. Look at the next thing you throw in the trash. Chances are it could be recycled. Also, making new products requires resources and creates emissions. And the bigger the product, the bigger the footprint. So check to see if there's anything good on Craigslist or other sites like it if you're looking for a new bike or furniture. Or for almost any other big ticket item, consider if you'd be willing to get a gently used one. Just as an example, tents and dog kennels are both surprisingly expensive, and I got practically new ones for half off on Craigslist. That's one less product that needs to be produced, I get it for super cheap, and the seller makes some money off something I don't use anymore. How much better could it get? Next time you need to buy clothes, maybe get some of them at an exchange store like Plato's Closet or Buffalo Exchange, or a thrift store. Also, donate or sell your own gently used clothes and big ticket items rather than throwing them away. Next time you need to buy a car, consider a used one instead of a new one. And if you're house hunting, hunt for existing ones rather than having a new one built. So these last few tips won't save you any money like the rest, but they're some of the best ways you can really make a difference. One of the easiest and most drastic ways you can help the environment is to tell your governmental representatives that you demand reform. That way, if enough people do the same, policies will be enacted on national and international levels. You can tell them to enact an industrial cap-and-trade system for carbon dioxide like there are for other pollutants. You can tell them to enact stricter gas mileage regulations for cars that take effect sooner. Maybe tell them to stop giving so much in governmental subsidies to oil companies. You can even just tell them you'd vote for more environmentally friendly candidates, or share information about climate change with them, like maybe a video. And these last two might be the most important. Find a way to stay motivated and keep doing these things all the time instead of letting them just fall by the wayside after a week. Whether that's taking time to appreciate the environment by taking hikes, bike rides, or walks, or volunteering or donating to an environmental organization. Keep learning new things you can do to help the environment and share that information with those around you. Like maybe a video.